You're about to listen to the Weird with a Side of Bacon podcast. We cover weird things, but part of that may include adult themes and content. We'll be talking about things like butts and boobs, and there will be swearing. It's kind of what we do. If there are any kids in the car, you may want to change the channel. Thanks, and enjoy. Hey, sweetie, what can I get for you?
Do you have any of today's specials left?
The weird? Oh, yeah, we got lots of weird.
And can I get that with bacon?
Sure, weird with a side of bacon, coming up. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 6 of the Weird with a Side of Bacon podcast.
Woo.
We love to do weird things. That comes off a little odd. We like to talk about weird things. We probably do weird things as well, but it's mostly about talking about weird things. That includes weird news, weird history, weird social media, weird facts, all kinds of weird stuff, because that is what Weird with a Side of Bacon podcast is all about. I am one of your hosts, Trevor, and I will be covering weird history and weird facts. And now we're going to go to Misty, I believe we'll go with. Misty, what do you have for us?
Oh, well, I do weird news stories from all around the world.
Sweet. And then the other host that has joined us today and every other episode, Stephanie.
I'm Stephanie. I cover weird social media and whatnot.
All right, guys, let's go through. And for new listeners, we always like to talk about if we had any weird personal experiences before we get into our crazy content. And we actually have a joint one today for everybody. So let's give a little background here. We do B-rated horror movie nights where we get together and a couple other friends join us. And we like to watch B-rated horror movies. And this week we had a really good one. We're watching Raccoon. It's on Amazon Prime if anyone hasn't seen it yet. It is great about a raccoon that, of course, gets into drugs and then starts killing people. But that's not really what we're here about. We accidentally fell into another category that I would say is not B-rated horror movie. It is something different. We found another movie on Amazon Prime called Catnado. So at first we're thinking it's like a spoof of Sharknado. So we're like, why not? Give it a shot. Oh my God. Am I right?
It was terrible. It was awful.
Okay.
I fell asleep.
Yes, we lost Misty partway through.
The sad part is that we had to rent it. It was not a free movie on Amazon Prime.
I know. We paid $1.99 to rent this. And so this is a new category I'd never heard of before called a micro budget movie. And overall, the only thing I can make sense out of this is that the whole idea is that somebody, whoever, said, hey, we can go and put together like a little graphic of a cat tornado, and we're going to make it available to anybody who wants, and people can do their own little short clips or movies, but it has to have a cat tornado somehow involved in it. And it is very much a micro budget movie. Most of it's on cell phones. Would you guys agree? Most of this were people like recording on cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
There was one where a guy was definitely wearing a cat costume from the 2000s, maybe Cats, not the original 80s Cats, but like the 2000s Cats movie.
That was supposed to be on top of a plane.
On top of an airplane, which we think was maybe a Volkswagen bus they were using to look like the inside of an airplane.
This one I was sleeping in.
Yes, and
You took a cat nap.
Nice. And it definitely qualified as a weird movie. Hey, props to the people that put it together because they were having fun. You got to admit, whoever did this, they were having fun. There's definitely some scenes where they were trying not to laugh at themselves while recording it. Mm-hmm. And we did watch the whole thing. We had to get our $1.99 worth out of it.
A whopping 88 minutes.
A whopping 88 minutes. But I'll admit, it is, even though we talked about that the movie was not good, we are still talking about it to this day. Like, It is worth it just to do. It's like the Deliverance rule. I call this Deliverance. There's the 1980s movie or 70s, can't remember which, with Burt Reynolds called Deliverance. And the whole idea is that a bunch of like redneck creepy dudes like man rape this group of backpackers or canoers. That sounds like a terrible movie. And if you haven't seen it, it's not a good movie. But the amount of jokes and comments that come from it are amazing. So you should watch Catnado. Not because it's an amazing movie, but because it gives you so many like inside jokes that it's worth it. And I call that the Deliverance rule. I think people understand who have seen Deliverance. So it was weird. Check it out, Amazon Prime.
For $1.99.
For $1.99. It's worth the $1.99. Maybe get friends to chip in. You can Venmo each other like 60 cents. And then you'd have to have 4 of you, cover the taxes. I think it'd be okay. I'm not good at math. So, all right, let's get into the content now. Oh, as a reminder for everybody, remember we do the bacon strip rating, 1 to 4, 4 being really weird, 1 being not. And we've incorporated the crispiness, which is like A+, or soggy, which is a minus. So keeping that in mind for stories. And I believe we're starting with Misty today. Is that right?
That is correct.
All right, Misty, you are up to bat. You are up to bat. What do you have?
You can't talk today.
I cannot talk today. Oh, don't worry, guys. I'll be super quiet this episode. I am positive of it.
Oh, I don't know how quiet you'll be when I tell you that a trans woman spent $17,000 to have her ribs removed to make her waist smaller, and now she's going to have a crown made out of them.
Out of her ribs?
Yes.
What?
Can you do that?
How can you... Go on. I'm trying to...
Yeah, that seems like a really bad idea. I'm pretty sure that you're not supposed to take out ribs. I think they're there put there for a reason.
But who in their right mind would be like, I want to take my ribs out and then make a crown out of them? Curious minds want to know.
Curious minds do want to know. A trans woman from Kansas City had 6 ribs removed in order to achieve a smaller waist. And now she is bizarrely planning to turn her spare ribs into a crown.
Okay. When you call them spare ribs, I'm immediately thinking of
barbecued
like,
ribs.
Barbecued
That's what I did
spare
too.
ribs. Does it come with cornbread? I mean, it's like, and again, they're not spare. They're there for a reason. Oh God. Okay.
All right. Well, her name is Emily, but goes by James. Dished out a whipping $17,000 for elective cosmetic surgery.
Just to remove these ribs.
Just to have the ribs removed.
So she gets the ribs removed, and now she's going to...
During recovery, she shared online that she got her ribs removed for cosmetic purposes, and they let her keep the ribs that they did remove.
She asked for them?
She might have. Or they, I should say. She got a lot of feedback from people on media. I had people say that they would make them a chew toy or boil them down for broth.
Wow. I thought she was the weird one. Apparently not. And now she's going to make a crown.
Yeah. How did they decide
To make a crown?
Yeah.
It doesn't really get into any like detail as to why she chose a crown to make it. Maybe because she wanted to go with her new skinny waist.
Or maybe because she's got a lot of pain drugs in her system right now that might be
That was a
helping,
good idea.
influencing her decision making.
So in here it says, getting my ribs removed doesn't change the fact that I'm a kind, loving trans girl. I know some of the moms that walk around with bazillion butt lifts. How is that any different than what I've done?
There's a big difference there.
I don't know. I might back her up on that.
She states that it's my money, my body. I'm going to do with it what I want.
No, I'm going to go back, and maybe you are right, because I've never heard of...
Because you're either getting butt implants or a butt lift. I've never heard of anybody getting ribs removed to make their waist skinnier. I've heard of people getting their body shaped, but not to the extent of ribs. But
I feel like
built-in corsets basically is what they do. They tighten.
Really?
They make it like a string, and they tighten your abdomen muscles to pull everything in.
wow, I'm learning so much.
You would think a corset would have formed her ribs in a different way instead of having them removed. I think I would really like to see a picture of this girl before and after.
Is this something we make Stephanie do as the lead of our social media project? Is you're in charge of finding a picture of this person before and after?
we'll see what I can find.
The fact that they're on it's not a now problem. It's, maybe for the Facebook thing. But the fact that on social media, I don't think it would be rude to do that. I think that they're already themselves promoting, themselves. So I feel like that as long as we give them credit or give them a link or something. All right. I do believe that if I were to give that a bacon rating, I would have a hell of a time not giving that a 4, maybe even a 4 crispy, because on the stage of weird, there are lots of weird in there.
I was going to go for crispy as well.
You're welcome.
Yeah. That is a
Starting
home
us
run.
off on a high note. Damn.
Oh yeah, man.
What can I say?
I am so glad I don't have to follow that. So, Stephanie.
You were going to go next.
I'm going to go next. I'll
We're
go
going
next.
we're going counterclockwise. today.
Counterclockwise. Okay.
I just
No.
want to throw you off.
No, I got it. I got my paperwork right here. I am raring. I'm going to try to compete, but to do that, I'm going to have to go with a double. But they're related. We're going to be talking Hollywood right now. Okay, guys?
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is going to be called I Don't Think I Get Social Norms. So we're gonna have to do a little. We're gonna do a little quick research with the two of you. Have you guys ever heard of this one actor? I believe his name might be Ryan Gosling. Ever hear of him?
Nope.
No.
What?
It was a joke. That was a sarcastic no. Did it not come across sarcastic?
So it felt real, and I'm like, how the hell do you not know who he is? Okay, go ahead.
Who's
All
that
right.
guy?
How would you describe Ryan Gosling, or how would you say overall women describe women or people attracted to men would describe Ryan Gosling as for looks?
They would say he's hot.
Is that
Sexy and romantic.
Yeah.
right? Okay. All right, guys. I got to cover my sources before we get into it. I've got an article from People Magazine. I got an article from Entertainment Weekly, and everybody's favorite book, 1,144 Random, Interesting, and Fun Facts You Need to Know by Scott Matthews. So, Ryan Gosling was cast as Noah in the movie The Notebook because the director wanted someone, quote, not handsome. That is the specific reason he got the job.
And yet every woman fell in love with him after that.
Wouldn't you? Look at how he treated her.
So,
Yeah. I fell in love with him a little bit after that movie.
Me too.
yeah. So Gosling states, in quotes, the director, Nick Cassavetes, I'm sure I butchered that, looked at me and said, I want you to play this role because you're not like the other young actors out there in Hollywood. You're not handsome. You're not cool. You're just a regular guy who looks a little nuts.
Burn.
Ouch.
So, yeah, Ryan Gosling apparently got the role because he was not attractive. I hope he doesn't get pigeonholed into being an ugly guy in movies. All right, so that was one of two, but don't rate me yet. I don't want a bacon rating yet because I know that one is a little one. That's why I'm doing two little ones. This one's still on Hollywood. I have titled this one, I'm in the Wrong Business. This one's going to be from internetmoviedatabase.com. It's going to be from screenrant.com and from 1001. What are you laughing about over there?
I was waiting for it. Go on.
Of course it is. All right. It is from a book by Scott Matthews you may have heard of called 1,144 Random, Interesting, and Fun Facts You Need to Know. Again by Scott Matthews. I'm just going to say it over and over again. All right. In the very first Terminator movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger was only paid $75,000 for his role because he's not the main character, right? Like the whole idea was that there's a Sarah Connor and she's like running from this bad guy who is this robot from the future that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like he wasn't a main part. He was just some musclehead that they needed to be chasing Sarah Connor, the main character, right?
It's true.
So in the first movie, because Arnold Schwarzenegger is just supposed to be this ominous person, and the fact that English is not his first language, he only spoke a total of 17 lines in the entire movie. So that movie was a huge hit. Like Terminator was big. People liked the Terminator movie. But everybody knew Arnie as the Terminator. Like people remembered the whole movie, but Arnold Schwarzenegger ended up being the big part of it. Everybody's like, hey, that is the big robot guy. So when they do the sequel, they had to have Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Like they couldn't have done a sequel without Arnold. It would not have made it big. Knowing that, they had a budget of $100 million, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was able to negotiate a payment of $15 million. So we got $75,000 for the first one and $15 million for the second one. His character, though, is still the same robot. So in the second movie, he only said 700 words in the entire movie. Now, if you do the math, that is $21,428.57 per word. So if you times that by the 4 words to say hasta la, okay. Again, if you times that amount by 4 words, which would be hasta la vista baby, that means Arnold Schwarzenegger was paid $85,000 when he said that. So just to say hasta la vista baby, $85,000 for those 4 words. Son of a bitch, I'm in the wrong business.
I got
when
the
you break
tuma.
it, when you break it down like that,
Right? That's a lot of freaking money. How many words do you think I say on this podcast? A couple.
between 5 and 10.
Definitely not hasta la vista, because that one you can't say very well.
I did not do well with my first hasta la vista baby. I was did not work out well. So, dang. If we can try to get those numbers here, that would be great, guys. I would like to be getting $21,500 ish per word. So if we could work on that, that would be great. All right, so those are my 2, and it was a little tough following Misty's because I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm going to get the rating nearly what Misty did.
I'm going to go 3.
I really appreciate it. I'll be honest, I think that might have been a little generous. I think these are interesting, maybe more than weird, but I liked them, and I wanted to put them in there, so I'm going to go with it. But I'll take a 3. Misty?
I think I'll give you a 3 too.
Thanks, guys.
You know, it's not weird, but it's very interesting facts of like how they all started and how they are where they are now. It's kind of interesting.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'll take interesting. Sometimes I have interesting facts that are not always weird. I try to make sure they're still on the fringe, though. I mean, this is the Weird with a Side of Bacon podcast. It's not the Interesting with a Side of Bacon podcast. So I still appreciate it, and I will go with the 3. Thank you very much.
You were
guys.
worried.
I was, because I got to be honest. I don't know if I would have given myself a 3. I would have felt
I can change mine if you'd want.
Nope.
I'll give you a 2 soggy.
No, whoa, hey, we just dropped a lot. Like, what do you mean, just like a 3 soggy? Oh, wow. The more I talk, the more trouble I'm getting myself into. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop with my talking. It's probably for the best. I do believe, Stephanie, I have given you as much buffer as I can after remove my ribs and make a crown. So, Stephanie, what do you have for us?
I have a Craigslist from Rants and Raves.
Oh, people ranting on the internet. This is going to go well.
I don't know if he's really ranting or not, but...
Is he raving?
You'll find out now, won't you?
Oh, boy. Okay.
The title is Single Life as an Older Man. I just realized while sipping my morning coffee at 5 a.m. that I am able to tolerate unfinished walls without paint here and there in my home without any ill effects. That would not be the case if I had a wife or a live-in girlfriend. I've been there, done that. Everything except getting married and having kids. I lived with a woman for nearly 10 years, and I would have married that one if she hadn't been bipolar.
Is she bipolar? Is bipolar just kind of like today's version of she's a bitch? I'm not saying this guy's right that she was a bitch. And I know there are people that are definitely bipolar. But has that become the thing now where people are like, oh man, she's got to be bipolar? Because you want to tell her she's a bitch without telling her she's a bitch.
Well, I think a lot of it is the lady maybe went from being really sweet to a switch being flipped to flipping out.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's fair that there are definitely people out there that are majorly bipolar.
How does he know she wasn't hangry?
That's true.
Oh yeah, maybe she's hangry.
Shove a sandwich in it. See what happens.
No, that we've had this talk. This is why we have the eat right before an episode rule. We always so listeners, every time we get together to record an episode, we do have something to eat beforehand. So all three of us stay away from being hangry.
Don't say the three of us.
Well, I get
You
I get
do it
hangry.
so we don't get hangry.
Hangry.
I get hangry
Because we're like two peas in a pod here. So.
Do I get hangry sometimes?
I don't think so.
No.
No, you get annoyed when we get hangry and take it out on you.
Well, either way, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we do to make sure everybody's happy and full.
It's a good thing that he feeds us to keep us happy.
Oh.
Okay, no, that doesn't. Are my words getting me in trouble again?
Don't they always?
Yes, they do. Okay.
The condition was undefined back then. I just knew something was wrong and I was unable to make her happy. If I had a woman living with me, as I have had in the past, I don't know how much time I'd have to spend churching up the place to meet a woman's standards, but it would be considerable.
I think this guy's just a woman hater is what this guy's turning into.
I'm the churcher at home.
You are. I hate painting. I do. You're right. You're the one who keeps the house all pretty and good looking.
You're welcome. But I like tedious things. So
Yes, you are not one for the tedious work.
No. The ADHD in me would be like, this is going to take more than 10 minutes? I'm out. Why are we doing this? Is this like the puzzle thing where you guys want to do a puzzle and I will help? But once we're done with the border, I'm already bored and out.
well, if you drink more wine, it wouldn't be that bad.
More alcohol. Maybe that will help me. Maybe that's how I'll treat my ADHD issues is with drinking more alcohol. Oh my God, this is a great idea.
That's not a good idea.
No, let's not.
Okay, fine. All right, let's get back to the woman hater.
With that realization of the acceptability of unfinished walls here and there, I also realized I have saved a nice chunk of money, not to mention time that cannot be gotten back. Don't get me wrong, I've mostly loved the time I've spent with women, but as an older man who has long ago conquered the urges of the flesh, shall we say, I appreciate the extra time and money that being single bestows upon me.
What is... Yeah. Oh, wow. I don't even know what to think of this guy.
He likes blow-up dolls because they don't talk back.
I guess so. He's not what by the flesh. He is not a victim to the flesh. What is it?
But as an older man who has long ago conquered the urges of the flesh, shall we say.
I don't know if I want to conquer the urges of the flesh. I feel like I always want to be conquered by the urges of the flesh. I think this guy just... Oh.
I'm not done.
Oh,
It goes on?
There's one more part of this.
Oh, I'm ready.
Guys, if you can't find a life partner, don't worry. It's not the end of the world. Although it might seem that way to you now. Carry on, as we all must do. Don't accidentally make any babies. God forbid you will become a financial slave to the mother and ruin your life in the process. I've seen countless good men crash and burn this way, and know that life can be just as good and fulfilling and much, much less expensive as a single man. Not to mention less stressful.
Can we break this down into a list? What does he all believe are horrible women? They ruin your life.
They spend your money.
They spend your money.
And everything needs to be perfect.
They make you do all your work. They use up all your time. And God forbid they create children. What is wrong with this dude? I love women. I'm going to disagree with him completely. This guy's got some definite inner issues going on.
He has something.
So, hey, good for him. He seems happy.
Because he doesn't have to do any painting.
Yeah. That's a lot of hatred over painting.
He saves all this money, but what does he spend it on? Because he's not fixing his house. He's not spending it on a wife or a girlfriend or unwanted children.
This sounds like an Ebenezer Scrooge thing.
Where he's just hanging on to the money.
Yes, he's going to be visited by 3 ghosts this Christmas.
Lovely.
So bacon rating would be?
I give it a 3 crispy.
I'd say I'm going to go 4. I'm going to go 4 on that one. This guy went and decided to put together a whole organized, poetic, I might even add, rave about how wonderful it is to not have those pesky women in his lives. So I'm going to give you a 4.
Bitches be crazy. That's basically what I got out of that.
I would agree with that.
So you're saying I'm crazy?
I didn't. Stephanie said it. I'm innocent.
You plead the 5th?
Are you saying we're both crazy?
Okay, I'm next.
No, you're not. Misty's up next because you went before me. Good try, though.
Shoot, we're going backwards. Okay, Misty's next.
Okay, this one comes from NPR. It's a gentleman who found or purchased a vase for $3.99 and sold it for more than $100,000 at auction.
Wait, where did he get this vase?
So he bought the vase for $3.99 at Goodwill in Virginia.
Thrift store.
From a thrift store.
Are we talking like $3.99?
$3.99. And then they learned that it was crafted by a famous Italian glass designer, Carlo Scarpa, I believe is how his last name is pronounced.
Sure. We'll go with it.
And then it went to auction and sold for $100,000.
Damn.
This is like the dream that you hear of when people are like, I want to go to Goodwill. I'm going to find that item that nobody knows. Are there people that actually do that for a business? And the people that go to like Goodwills and stuff?
They do. They look for like the painted glass.
Painted glass, or they buy clothes. Sometimes they'll buy like a pair of like Levi jeans that nobody knows is some vintage like crazy classic, and sell them online and stuff.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people don't think about that when they're donating.
I know I don't.
Well, and then you run across like all these older ones that are like grandkids whose great grandparents are deceased, and their grandparents and parents had them, and they don't know where they originated came from, so they don't want to hold on to all that stuff, because nowadays the less there is, the better. Smaller homes, less clutter, so they donate a lot of things, not realizing that some of the stuff could be valuable.
Can you imagine how much ends up in the dump?
A lot. Because I'm sure people are like, who's going to want a vase like this? It's not worth donating.
Yeah.
I'm just going to
toss
it. It's
just been sitting in the basement collecting dust for 50 years.
Oh, I just thought of the other side of this thing. So, all right. So what city was this in?
Virginia.
All right. And I'm sure we're hearing about it here in Wisconsin.
Well,
US.
It was in Richmond, but in the state of Virginia.
Well, either way, that had to be an even bigger story there. Like, that had to be all over the news. Guy buys at a local Goodwill. He buys this vase and sells it for $100,000, right? Mm-hmm. And there's got to be a picture of it. What I'm thinking of is somebody recognized it. Somebody recognized that they donated that thing. They were cleaning out Grandma's attic after she died. They found it, and they donated it to Goodwill, and are now seeing at the news selling for $100,000.
Oh, how pissed would you be?
Son of a bitch.
I would cry personally.
Stephanie, did you find a picture of it?
I did.
Oh, that is this like a bottle?
It looks like a bottle.
It looks like a bottle.
All right. Now, see, you better save that, because we're going to have to put that on the Facebook page. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. There's some poor person's like, just donate that stupid thing. That's ugly. Who would want that?
Now it's going to make
I
you
think it's
second
actually
think.
kind of cool looking.
Would
But
you pay $100,000 for it?
No, I mean,
No,
I
but I
would pay
would
the
have-
$3.99, but
I would have paid $3.99 for it myself.
Yeah,
Cool.
because it's unique.
So
But
is this
anyway.
gonna put you on a pause of like rush cleaning through things?
No. No, I will not learn a lesson. I refuse to learn a lesson. You know that.
All right, Trevor, what do you have for us?
Well, we didn't bacon rate. No, we're bacon rating that.
Oh, okay.
I think that was interesting. I liked it. Especially now because there are going to be people that are going to start upping the going to Goodwill to buy stuff and just researching the heck out of it. I
Well,
like
not
it.
just Goodwill, but antique stores.
Anything. St. Vincent de Paul.
Yeah,
Any antique
thrift store.
thrift store that's out there.
Okay, bacon rating. Bacon rating on this story. Is this another one where it's the interesting more than weird? I think it was a good story. I liked it. I'm going to go 4. I'm going to go 4 on it.
I'm going 3 crispy.
Okay. I didn't expect any bacon rating, but I like them all because it was just a little one that I had. All right, Trevor, what do you have for us?
All right, guys. Strap in because I got a long one here.
Strap on. One.
No, I didn't say strap on. Strap in. Not the same thing. So this one is called A Lesson in Planning. And we're going to be talking about the 1904 Summer Olympics. Specifically, the men's marathon is definitely weird. Okay.
Did you find this article or somebody else?
I do believe this was another referral from Spike P. He gave me the idea of this one. But the sources that I was using to find it or to get the details of it would be from Wikipedia, Smithsonian Magazine article from 2024, and the Associated Press article from 2020. Let's jump into this. It's 1904 Summer Olympics, and they were being held in St. Louis, Missouri, United States. Also, this will come up more important later, is there was the World's Fair that was also being held in St. Louis, Missouri, USA at the exact same time. The one we're going to talk about of all of the Summer Olympics, though, is the men's marathon. The men's marathon was only 24 miles long. That back then they did not figure out yet, like how long. There was like not a set distance for marathons. So it was 24 miles long. But the people who organized this, I don't know if they just didn't know anything about marathons or if they just didn't give a shit, but things did not go well. Right from the bat. First thing is the race was set to start at 3 p.m. So summer, St. Louis, Missouri, 3 p.m. start time.
Like 100 degrees.
90. They actually have the record of it. It was 90 degrees at the very start of this marathon race. Also, they were driving cars back and forth, tracking everybody. But this is 1904. So these are dirt roads. So as they're driving back and forth, they're just kicking up giant cloud dusts of official cars going back and forth.
Hold on. So Olympians are very health conscious. Maybe back not in 1904. But the fact that they made them run at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at probably the hottest time of the day. Mm-hmm. Not only that, but they're already breathing heavy for running 24 miles, that they're now sucking in all this dust that these cars are spitting up.
Yeah, that's going to come up again too. Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
So like I said, this entire thing was 24 miles long because there was no official distance set yet for Olympic marathons. And during the entire race, there were only 2 sources of water. The first one was a source of water at about the 6-mile mark. It wasn't an official water source. It was just a fountain that some people had found. And at the halfway mark, so about 12 miles, there was a second setup that was actually the only official water station at the entire marathon. And this was done on purpose by the race organizers because they wanted to conduct a study in, quote, purposeful dehydration, close quote, which was a common area of research at the time. So little did these participants know, but they were part of a research project called Purposeful Dehydration and were only given water once during the 24-mile long race.
How is that allowed in the middle of the Olympics?
It was 1904. I think this was
Yes.
like the third Olympics of all time. There were not a lot of Olympics back then. This was still a new thing.
But they still had 12 more miles to run.
Yeah. Well, I got water once. Like, how much water do you need as a marathon runner? I've never done a marathon.
I'm sure they're not camels.
That's a good point.
Okay, continue. I want to know how many of these people passed out after like 5 miles after the 12-mile watermark.
Yeah.
Of the 32 athletes that participated, representing 7 different nations, only 14 of them actually managed to complete the race.
So only about half.
That's less than, a little less than half. A little less than half. There was a guy found lying on the road along the marathon course, unconscious, with severe internal injuries. He was having stomach hemorrhaging that had been caused by breathing in the clouds of dust that were being kicked up by the race course officials. So they're just driving back and forth, checking on people to see how everybody's pace is going. And they find a guy with a stomach hemorrhage, almost dead on the side of the road. Then they caused it. To add to the difficulty, the course was also not cleared of obstacles for the marathon. So runners had to constantly dodge crosstown traffic, delivery wagons, railroad trains,
Horse poop.
trolley cars, probably some horse poop, and even people walking their dogs.
So does their time stop when a train is going by?
I'm going to say no.
No, why would you stop it for a train? That doesn't make any sense.
Or delivery services?
Let's just say marathon runners back then.
Hopefully they
probably.
jumped over the horse poop.
Or stepped in it. Why not?
I'm gonna
Can't be any worse than being dehydrated, right?
I'm gonna say they did stop it for trains, and you'll understand why as we continue. But yes, I do not think there was any stopping for trains. I don't even think they contemplated trains. These guys had no idea what the hell they were doing putting together a marathon race.
Okay.
So after many hours of a race going on, which, marathons even today take many, many hours to finish, finally there was somebody that made it to the end. His name was Frederick Lors. So this guy is obviously going to be the winner. Like, there's no one around him. He's going and he's getting up to the finish line. He's doing a good pace and like it's looking good. As he gets across the finish line, people are cheering. He has finished this whole race. He's the big kahuna. But as they're about to give him the medal, the truth comes out. So apparently he had actually hitchhiked a ride in a car for part of the race.
Smart. I'm not going to lie.
He admitted, like, he just came out and said, I can't accept this medal.
Because who caught him? There's like no video cameras back in 1904.
Well,
Was he hitchhiking?
This was actually quite obvious what was going on. And he says it was a joke after the fact. But so what happened is about the 9-mile marker, he started getting started suffering from cramps. Okay. And he decided to hitch a ride back to the stadium. So I don't know if it was an officiant's car or some other one, but he's in a car getting a ride back to the stadium after he had supposedly quit. While he's doing this, though, he's waving at spectators as he's going by. He's waving at other runners in the race as he's going by them, saying, ha, I quit. This is a great car ride.
Hey.
But the car he's riding in broke down at mile marker number 19. So he quit at mile marker 9. He got a 10-mile ride to mile marker 19, and then the car itself broke down.
I have a feeling I know where this is going, but go on.
So he gets out of the car, decides he's feeling okay again.
I knew it.
And then he starts running. And he runs the last 5 miles, jogs across the finish line, and acts like he's the big winner of the entire competition. And yes, as he's literally getting the medal, like I don't think they'll officially put it around his neck, but he's about to get it around his neck when it finally comes out like, hey man, that guy rode in our car for 10 miles out of the 24-mile race. So, so he got disqualified.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, though. Eventually, we do get an actual winner. So the true winner of this was a guy named Thomas Hicks.
2 days later?
No, but he was near collapsing and obviously hallucinating by the end of the race.
What is in their dirt?
No kidding.
It's going to make sense. So 10 miles from the actual finish line, he wanted to lie down and quit. He's like, I'm out. Like, I did 14 miles. There's 10 to go. I can't do it. But he had trainers with him. You know, a good marathon runner has got his pit crew, right? He's got his crew to help him out. Well, his trainers from that 10 miles to the end mark to the end gave him several doses of strychnine, a common rat poison, which stimulates the nerve system in small doses. And then they mix it with brandy and egg white. I think that's a Tom and Jerry. Isn't that most of what's in a Tom and Jerry? I think just missing the cream, right?
Well, the egg whites, I think, are whipped in Tom and Jerry's. Anyways.
Yeah. So strychnine, brandy, and egg whites. I feel like that's a good thing to keep you going in a race. He continued to battle onwards, hallucinating, and he's barely able to walk for many parts of the course. When he does reach the stadium at the end, his support team actually were carrying him over the finish line, holding him up in the air while he shoveled his feet as if he was still running, but they weren't touching the ground. He had to be carried off the track on a stretcher and is likely to have died in the stadium if there were not for 4 doctors that were there treating him at the end.
So he would have died if there wouldn't have been doctors.
Because it's not just from what they gave him. It's probably the dehydration, the humidity,
the dirt,
the combination
on
of
top
everything. So,
could you imagine how that rat poison hit him? Being dehydrated?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. This guy had to be so... I couldn't even imagine what kind of condition this guy had to be in. Just the worst.
Okay.
But wait. There's more.
Oh, no.
There it was a Cuban postman who had also joined the marathon, but he arrived at the absolute last minute to the start of the race. He had actually came into the U.S. and New Orleans, but had gambled all of his money away while he was in New Orleans, Louisiana. So he ended up hitchhiking to the start of the race in St. Louis, but he didn't have any clothes, and he just got there in time, so he ended up running the event in his street clothes, but luckily somebody had a knife and were able to cut his pants so they at least looked like shorts. He had not eaten anything for 40 hours. So he literally comes flying in, cuts his pants off, and just starts the race. 40 hours the last time he ate anything. He sees a spectator eating 2 peaches. So, hungry as could be, he asks the spectator, hey man, can I have one or both of those peaches? The spectator says no. So he grabs them and steals the peaches from the spectator and just continues taking off running. Then he sees an apple orchard on the side of the race. So he stops there and starts eating apples that were there, but they were after season. So all the apples there had gone rotten. And the problem is if you eat rotten apples, you get stomach cramps. So he gets these stomach cramps. He decides after a while, and he lays down and he takes a nap in the middle of the race. Even though he did all this, including the nap, he took 4th place in the race.
Jeez.
How long of a nap did he take?
I don't know, but this guy took a nap in the middle of a marathon and still took 4th place. This Olympics also had the first 2 black Africans to compete in the Olympics. 2 Tswana men, whose names were Len and Jan, happened to be in St. Louis, not for the Olympics. They were there for the World Fair. So remember, the World Fair is going on at the same time, right? These guys are there for the World's Fair. I think they're actually like part of an exhibit. So Len and Jan are convinced, hey, you guys should try this race. You guys can compete. You guys are good at running, right? Well, the 2 of them decided, without training, to do the race. They finished 9th and 12th place. But it is considered that there's a good chance Len could have done better, but he had been chased for nearly a mile off course by wild dogs. So he's just running for his life, but still makes it back onto the track at some point and finishes the race for 12th place.
Wow.
And that, my friends, was the 1904 Summer Olympics men's marathon and a lesson in planning.
There was a lot that happened.
I told you it was a long one. It was a long one, but a good one. There might have been a reason that I went with my lighter stories earlier. I felt like this is a good one. What are your thoughts on the 1904 Summer Olympics men's marathon?
I'd have to give
He's
it a
worried
4
that-
crispy.
What? Could you say that again?
Don't get all crazy.
Uh-huh.
Don't get a high. I'm not giving you brandy and rat poison.
What about the egg white?
No.
Okay.
I gave you a 4 crispy.
Yeah, Stephanie?
4 crispy with the egg white.
With the egg white.
Whipped or unwhipped.
Can we make up our own drink? All right, we're not going to use strychnine in our drink. But can we make up a drink that we call like the 1904 men's marathon drink? It will have to have like, it's going to be like a brandy with some egg white. I don't know what we would use like that would be like strychnine, but we're not going to use strychnine. But I feel like we should make a drink. It's going to have a little sprinkling of dirt in it. A little dust.
Well, actually, you could use brown sugar for that. It'll look like it.
Oh, yeah, where it settles on the bottom, something that won't dissolve a little bit.
I was going to say brown sugar or even like cinnamon as the topper.
Yeah, because you can whip the egg whites as the mousse for on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like the cinnamon because it like float on top. Oh, gosh. All right, I want, we're going to try to come up with some if we can. And any listeners, do us a favor. Send us like, if you come up with a great idea for the 1904 men's marathon Summer Olympics drink. Oh, we need a drink that just engulfs as much of it as possible. We'll have a little bit of like apple cider in it too, maybe. Oh, I think there's something here. This might not be a good tasting drink, but I think we should do it. But no strychnine. We are very much thinking this would be a drink we'd want to try sometime just to say we did it. But let's avoid any rat poison if we could. So, all right, guys. I think we better move on because I think I was hogging the time quite a bit in that one. I do believe we are on to Stephanie for her second story of the night.
This is from Reddit, from the subreddit Wedding Shaming. Sister-in-law is having his and hers weddings, and I want to make sure I'm not insane.
Do people do that?
Mm.
I
don't think so, but apparently these people do.
How do you have a his and her wedding? I don't even know how you would do that. What's going on, Stephanie? Give us some more deets.
Okay. My sister-in-law is getting married this summer. A destination, sort of, a couple of hours away. Not really a place to vacation and similar enough to where we live that it's just odd, you know? Micro wedding, exclusive invite, bougie, etc. Anyway, they decide to have a second wedding closer to home with a ton of people. We thought it was crazy to have two, but they said they couldn't afford to have all the people they wanted at the first wedding, so they're having another they can afford to bring everyone to.
Well, if you're going to do a destination wedding, normal people go to an island that only a few friends and that show up to witness.
I get it, but yeah, I just... Okay, all right. So 2 weddings. One's the big family one. The local, the chicken and beef tips, right? And then we have this destination one. And who's this relationship? Sister? Brother?
Sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, doesn't the other side got to be a brother?
Yes.
Oh, wait, no. Maybe it's she married a guy and it's his sister. Okay, I'm going to stop. All right, so local. Okay, keep going, Stephanie.
I'm so confused right now.
Cliff Notes version is she wants a small wedding, he wants a big wedding. Instead of compromising or working together, they're each having their own wedding. They each have their own venue, staff hired, etc. When they were over for Christmas, we asked about why 2 weddings, and that was the explanation they gave us. They seem to be a solid relationship, but this seems to counteract the whole idea of marriage. Like, if it's about both of you joining together, why are you each having your own separate thing? Please tell me I'm not delusional.
This is not a good example of a marriage that's going to work. If the very first decision the two of you have to make together as a married couple, and you can't do it, how many his and her things do you think they can do like this? They have his and her vacations.
The house is split in half.
His
One
and her
side is hers, the other side is his.
Oh, they're gonna have his and her pets, his and her children. This is my kid, but that one's yours. Can you do that? I don't know if you can do that.
And they have 2 different registries.
His registry and her
You
registry.
gave her one fucking registry?
Apparently not.
Well, how does that work? Are they going to get 2? They're going to end
2
up
gravy
with
boats?
2 gravy boats. They're going to have 2 gravy boats. We don't even use the one we have. We've
We do
cracked-
2. Only
How
on
many
Thanksgiving.
times? How many times? How many? Every
Once a year.
Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Every Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Okay, we use our gravy boat. That's more than I thought we used it. But yeah, what? How? Okay. Did she pick out a set of silverware and like plates and stuff, and then he did the same thing?
Well, by the sounds of it, he went China, she went ceramic.
Maybe one of them went Pyrex. Pyrex makes some good dishes, let me tell you.
They don't make dishes, they make bakeware.
What am I thinking of? The white like plates, and they had like everybody's mom had them.
Corningware?
Corningware. I'm thinking Corningware. Can you still get Corningware? I think you can.
A lot of people have been selling them on Marketplace and stuff.
Because they last forever. It's good Corningware. Does that mean you expected to get a gift for both sides?
Nope, 2 registries, 1 for each wedding.
Hold on, wait a second. So if they ever have a baby, are they going to have a his and her baby shower?
Probably. Because they wouldn't be able to, if they can't agree on a wedding.
They're going to build 2 different houses, a his and her house.
Yeah, they will when they get divorced, because that's what's going to happen. They can't even make it this far. Okay, what do you think, though? Are you expecting to get a gift for each of them?
Probably.
Absolutely not.
Oh, I'm out.
Then if that's the case, say I were to spend $100, there's 2 different registries. One gets 50, the other one gets 50.
Put a Post-it note on.
Yep.
50
This
for
is
each
your
of you.
half. This is his half.
Oh, you buy each half of their
It's
dining set.
It's one of those where it's like, thanks, but no thanks.
See, that's my initial thought, but part of me wants to go see this fucking train wreck.
Would
Part
you
of me
attend
wants
both?
To see. I don't know, but part of me wants to see how this goes. I think I would probably go. I'd want to go to at least the first one to hear them talk about how the other one's going to be so much better. Like, oh, wow, what a lovely wedding day. Thanks, but it's going to be even better when I do my second one at the wherever they're going. I don't even fucking remember.
The destination one is like in the mountains.
The mountains.
So my question is does it state whether or not she has 2 wedding dresses?
It does not.
Oh, that's a good question too. Do you think he gets a discount if he has to rent his tux twice?
Maybe at this point he should have just bought one.
Oh, I bet you he gets to pick what his tux looks like at his wedding, and she gets to pick what his tux looks like at her wedding.
Oh, great. That means that he picked her dress.
Oh my gosh, this is such a stupid thing. Okay, part of me says I want nothing to do with this, and part of me says I would have to go because I do want to see this train wreck. I want to go to the first one. The first one where all they do is the other one talks about how much better theirs is going to be. This is so amazing. This is awkward as fuck. I love awkward. Awkward is my favorite type of weird. This is good.
Any updates?
Yeah, are they divorced yet?
There are no updates.
Well, that's sad.
Can you get a his and hers divorce? Because that's where this is going. I don't know how this is going to work, and maybe it will work out, but boy oh boy, talk about starting off on the wrong foot. I think this is a great example of that.
So that's that.
Oh, good God.
Bacon rating. Bacon rating time.
I give it a 3.
A 3?
Maybe a 3 crispy.
I'm going to go 4 soggy. I think it was better than 3 crispy. I think it deserved a 4, but maybe not a solid 4. I'll go 4 floppy on that one. I thought it was pretty good because everybody that's at this wedding is going to be like, what the fuck is this? And could you imagine a guy planning an entire wedding himself? It's going to have monster trucks and like a Motley Crue cover band.
Not necessarily.
Okay, if I planned a wedding just by myself with no input from Misty, it would have monster trucks. It would probably have a Motley Crue cover band. I don't even like Motley Crue that much. It would definitely have a Motley Crue cover band. Pyrotechnics, something. So maybe not all men. I should not categorize all men, but my wedding would have some stupid shit if I was left uncontrolled.
I was always told I can't give them back.
Could you just imagine if we had a party and you, some unknowing way, decided to allow me to be completely in charge of it, and it had a 4-figure budget? Could you imagine what that party would be like? It would be our party, but I make all decisions, all unquestioned decisions.
That could go anywhere from $1,000 to $9,000.
I know.
Like, that is a huge gap.
All right, let's just say, because we're talking wedding numbers here. In this theoretical, we're talking wedding numbers.
Then we're in
You mean when we were married like
5-digit.
23 years ago? Nowadays, weddings are like $35,000 to $100,000.
That's not including all the other stuff like the tux rentals, the wedding dress, the decorations.
And I think that's why everybody nowadays are going for the destination weddings. Because if you think about it,
because you can get a
the
week
bride
in
and the
Mexico
groom,
for
you get
$4,000.
You know what? I think our children would love a destination wedding. I think when our kids, whoever they decide to marry, I'm going to push for that destination wedding. We're going to keep our kids' passports up to date at all times, just in case something happens. I'm getting married. Good. Leave the country.
They get free travels if they use the Catnado.
They can ride on the Catnado. Did you ever think we'd have a callback to Catnado in an episode already?
No.
Oh, that was fast. I like it, though. I like where we're going. Okay, guys, I think that is enough for one day. We have covered a lot of stuff today, so we're going to wrap this thing up. Again, thank you, everybody, for listening to the episode. As we always talk about, please subscribe to us on YouTube or Spotify or iTunes or whatever you're using. Subscribe, follow. We're on the Facebook. We're on the TikTok. We're on the Instagram. We might find other stuff that we'll be on soon too. Just anywhere you're on, just search for us at all given times. If you just keep Googling Weird with a Side of Bacon podcast, I'm sure things will go well for you. Also, if you have any comments you want to leave us, any important things that you want to tell us about, you need to email us, ideas for shows, weird stuff you've seen. Send it to us. Our email address is weirdwithsideofbacon@gmail.com. Again, the email address, weirdwithsideofbacon@gmail.com. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you on the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.